Radio, it's 810. News Talk 810. I'm Chris Brett, your KGO Radio News.
Thank you, Chris. 10:35. KGO News Talk 810 time. Bernie Ward program 8080810. The number to call. You can email by going to the website at KGO.com. Sophia in Richmond. Welcome to KGO with Bernie Ward.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for calling.
I live in Richmond, and I hear the gunshots every day. My mom has to make ends meet trying to get us to go to after-school programs and try to get us to jump through hoops to try to get us to do after-school things so we don't become ending up on the streets like so many of the kids of Richmond have. I have to pass through what we call the ghetto, and before we go, we always have to lock our doors, roll up our windows in our car, and, if we have, say I have a red headband on or something that would cause some gang violence, I have to take it off. And as I go by, I see children, scared and running, so they don't get jumped or get in the middle of a fight or anything like that, because there's no after-school activities for these kids. These kids are on the street, and they don't have anything to do. If anybody, I'm asking you that 2 years ago, the same thing happened. We had to have a state of emergency called, and I went with my mother and my sister. We went to a city council meeting, and we addressed Mayor Anderson, and we did not want that to happen again. And now that it's happening again, and we're scared that we're going to have another state of emergency. I mean, I've heard the gunshots. I've seen the mothers crying. Their 13, 14, 19-year-old children dead, because of the gangs and because of the shootings. And, I've been to the emergency room once, and I could see the kid, one of the, a teenager, people running over him saying, get this, get this, get that, and because they pronounced him dead after being shot. And if anybody has any resources, any power, just please try to get these kids off the street. It's really sad to see the mothers, crying because their babies are gone. And I try not to let it affect me, being in Richmond. But it's kind of hard to, because, you see it every day. You hear it every day. You hear it on the news now that there's been a total of 19 people dead in the past year. It's heartbreaking because you're scared that you're going to be next. You're terrified because you're terrified to go out your door that night. You're terrified to dump your garbage because you're terrified you're going to get shot. Then we shouldn't have to live like this. No, America, you expect us in a war-torn country, but not America.
No, you shouldn't. And you're a very articulate young lady, and I want to thank you very much for sharing with us.
One more thing.
Sure.
Anybody that has any power, and anybody who's listening right now, please call the mayor and tell her what's happening, that Richmond people need help, because we're terrified to walk out. We're terrified of, even dumping garbages and going out after 6 o'clock because it gets dark. And you can't see, and you're scared if someone can sneak up on you, or if they're going to shoot you from behind. And if anybody has power, just please try to do something to get after-school activities so these kids have to get off the streets. They don't have any other choice but to be in gangs or sell drugs or kill other people to live, because they have no after-school activities. And I had to be pulled out of piano classes because it wasn't fun. I used to go to a piano class and used to be free through the Richmond Work Center, and it got pulled because the Richmond couldn't afford it. And it's a good thing that I have other things that I could do. I could do other things, but if people don't have anything, then they're destined to the streets. They live in bad areas. They're destined to the streets. They're destined again to bad things, drugs and the gangs, and that's the only way the people out here can survive. And if you're hearing this and you're probably thinking, some of you are thinking, it's no big deal. It is a big deal, because imagine not being able to walk around. I don't remember. The last time I remember even being able to play in my front yard was when I was 2, and that's the last time I could play in my front yard because we got too scared and there were shootings, and at night I can hear police cars, artillery sirens, and helicopters overhead, and I can hear them pow, 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 and then all of a sudden it's quiet, then another pow, 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 and then just gone, and then it's silence, and then you hear if someone's hurt, if you hear the sirens going after them, or you hear the helicopters. And
well, Sophia,
I don't like living like this.
You shouldn't have to live like that. And you do everything you need to do to protect yourself and your mom and your family. And maybe somebody will hear your voice tonight and start trying to put programs together, and maybe
it's not only for me, it's for the other kids that I know. I mean, I know a kid that got shot. I know kids that have brothers that have gotten shot, sisters that have gotten shot, Yeah.
Maybe it's time to end the terrorism in this country instead of worrying about it in other places. Sophia, thank you very much. I appreciate the call. If you sat through that call and weren't affected by it, then there's nothing we can do. So which terrorism is worse? Sophia not being able to play in front of her yard since age 2, or Bin Laden and the boys over in Iraq or whatever? What should require more attention? What should require more resources? 1042 on KGO it is, the Bernie Ward program.